We don't want him to get beat up too often. Okay, ready. Okay. Jesus Christ. Woo. All righty. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming in person. Ooh, it's very loud.
Yeah, they'll work on it.
I'm sorry? Eric, something is... Okay, should we try this again? Is that better? Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us in person, and for those watching the meeting on Hartford Public Access Television Station, welcome. I'm now calling to order the regular scheduled meeting of March 25th, 2024 to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bilodeau.
Here.
Councilman Clark.
Present.
Councilman Gale.
Here.
Councilman Hernandez.
Here.
Councilman Mictum.
Here.
Councilwoman Rosado. Councilwoman Rossetti.
Here.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Here.
Councilman Thomas.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can we all stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you, Mr. Chair. Madam Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 11th, 2024.
Second.
A motion is made and properly second to approve the minutes from March the 11th, 2024. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bilodeau, sorry.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez.
Yes.
Councilman Mictum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado. Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Madam Majority Leader.
Council President, I make a motion to suspend the rules for Resolution 8.1 and 8.2.
Second.
A motion has been made to suspend the rules for 8.1, items 8.1 and 8.2. The motion has been properly made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing no discussion, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bilodeau.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez.
Yes.
Councilman Mictum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado. Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Council President. I make a motion to place the following items on consent. 4.1. Hold on a minute. Planning, Economic Development, and Housing Committee with accompanying resolution confirming the appointment of Chance Carter to the Planning and Zoning Commission. 4.3, Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee with accompanying resolution authorizing a budget increase for the school building projects currently underway at Burns Latino Studies Academy renovation project. 4.4, Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee with accompanying resolution authorizing a budget increase for the school building project currently underway at the E.B. Kennelly School. 5.1, Mayor Aru-Lamplam with accompanying ordinance amendment of Section 32-18 of the Municipal Code. 5.2, Mayor Aru-Lamplam with accompanying ordinance establishing the procedure necessary for flags raisings at City Hall. And 7.1, Councilwoman Rosado, Councilman Hernandez, Majority Leader Rossetti, Councilman Gale, Assistant Majority Leader Clark, and Councilwoman Bilodeau, Resolution Operation Prom, Connecticut.
Second.
A resolution has been made and properly second for motion to place the following items on consent. Item 4.1, 4.3, 4.4, 5.1, 5.2, and 7.1. Are there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bilodeau.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez.
Yes.
Councilman Michdom.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado. Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Council President. Make a motion to receive the following items. 3.1, Mayor Arulanplan with accompanying communication to deliver the annual report to the Court of Common Council on the state of the city. 3.4, Planning, Economic Development, and Housing Committee communication concerning a resolution calling for more electrical vehicle charging stations in Hartford. 3.5, Planning, Economic Development, and Housing Committee communication concerning a resolution to request an update from the Fair Housing Commission. 3.6, Planning, Economic Development, and Housing Committee communication concerning a presentation from Riverfront Recapture. 3.7, Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee communication concerning resolution on promotion awareness of tax abatement provisions for vehicle taxes under Connecticut General Statutes, Title 12, Section 12-124. 3.8, Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee communication concerning resolution calling for Hartford Town Clerk to mail absentee ballots, applications, and essential information to each registered voter in the city prior to the presidential election to ensure maximum public awareness and participation. 3.9, Quality of Life and Public Safety Committee communication concerning the establishment of a neighborhood block watch in the city of Hartford. 4.2, Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability with an accompanying ordinance amendment of Section 32-18 of the Municipal Code. And 4.5, Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee with accompanying ordinance establishing the procedure necessary for flag raisings at City Hall.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly second to receive the following items. Items 3.1, 3.4, 3.5,
They wanted to say that.
3.6, 3.7,
Just this,
3.8, 3.9, 4.2, and 4.5. Are there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bilodeau.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez.
Yes.
Councilman Michdom.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado. Councilwoman Rossetti.
yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Council President. I make a motion to refer the following items to Planning, Economic Development, and Housing Committee. 3.2, Mayor Arulanplan with accompanying resolution confirming the appointment of Joseph Linhart to the Planning and Zoning Commission. To Operations Management, Budget, and Government Accountability Committee, the following. 3.3, Mayor Arulanplan with accompanying resolution confirming the appointment of Sean Wooden to the Pension Commission. 6.1, Mayor Arulanplan with accompanying ordinance amending the anti-blight and property maintenance program. Public hearing on Monday, April 15th, 2024 at 7 p.m. 7.4, Councilman John Gale, Councilwoman Rosado, resolution for the enhancement of the City of Hartford's website for improved access to daily meetings. 8.2, Mayor Arulanplan with accompanying recommended general fund budget and capital improvement program, ordinance of appropriations for general fund, ordinance concerning appropriation in the capital improvement fund, ordinance tax levy on the list of October 1st, 2024, public hearing Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024, 6 p.m. at Montessori Magnet at Batchelder School, and Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, 6 p.m. Weaver High School. To Public Works, Parks, Recreation, Environment Committee, 7.5, Councilwoman Bilodeau, Councilwoman Council President Surgeon, Majority Leader Rossetti, Assistant Majority Leader Clark, resolution establishing that a refurbished monument of Matthew Furlong be erected at the east end of New Ross County Wexford Park located on Main Street. And then to the Committee of the Whole, date to be determined. 7.3, Councilwoman Rosado, Councilman Gale, resolution that the Court of Common Council hereby requests the presence of the Superintendent, Hartford Public Schools, or their designated representative to represent a comprehensive report on the current status, challenges, and achievements related to the implementation of the Vento Act within the Hartford schools.
Second.
Ordinance been made and properly, ordinance. The item has been made and properly second to refer the following items to the Committee for Operation Management, Budget, and General Accountability. Item 3.3, 6.1, 7.4, and 8.2. To the Planning, Economic Development, and Housing Committee. Item 3.2. To the Public Works, Park and Recreation, and Environmental Committee. 7.5. And to the Committee of a Whole, 7.3. Do I hear any discussion? Seeing or hearing no discussion, Mr. Clerk, could you call the rolls, please?
Councilwoman Bilodeau,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Gale,
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez,
Yes.
Councilman Micklin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado, Councilwoman Rossetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 1 second, Madam Majority Leader. Correct. Again, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Council President. I make a motion to take action on 7.2, Councilwoman Rosado, Council President Surgeon, Assistant Majority Leader Clark, Councilman Hernandez, Councilwoman Bilodeau, resolution raising of the Christian flag.
Second.
Replacement item number
It doesn't say, okay.
Yeah.
It's a, I don't know what it's a
So
replacement.
the motion is on the floor for replacement item number 7.2 to be placed on action. Are there any discussion? Councilman Gale.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. As I understand the resolution, this is support, the effect of this resolution would be support by the City of Hartford for the display of a Christian flag in front of City Hall during some period of time. My understanding is that this is not anything that has been done historically here at the city, but that indeed this has been done perhaps the last 2 years in a row. There are, in my mind, two problems with this resolution. And as a result of those problems, I'm not supportive of the resolution. The very first problem is that the Constitution of the United States, the First Amendment thereto, First Amendment of the Bill of Rights, indicates that Congress shall pass no law promoting the establishment of any religion. That First Amendment by our Supreme Court and the 14th Amendment has been held applicable to all the states and the municipalities within those states. So we start from the proposition that the City of Hartford, like every municipality in the United States, should not be in the business of establishing any religion. Flying a flag, any flag, of any religion, is promoting it. There's no other reason for flying a flag except to promote. We certainly have done this, and plenty of people do this when, University of Connecticut Huskies, as we hope will happen soon, win both the men's and women's basketball championships. We want to honor them and celebrate them and fly their flags. But the city of Hartford should not be in the business of flying the flag of any religion. I'm not singling out the Christian religion. They shouldn't be in the business of flying the flag of any religion. It's prohibited by the Constitution. It's applicable to the states, and I don't think there's a legitimate exception to it. Now, the second problem is that we just passed an ordinance that establishes a flag policy. And in the discussions we had, our esteemed corporation counsel made it known to us that there were court cases, I believe of one very recently coming out of Boston, that got Boston into trouble because of just such an action, of flying a religious flag and then receiving a request to fly somebody else's religious flag and turning it down. My understanding of the ordinance we just passed was that the way in which a municipality protects itself from these types of lawsuits is if a flag flying is done by government action and not by citizen request. I believe we had discussion that government action means the type of thing where the city council at the beginning of the year says, look, these are the 10 flags that we're going to fly during the course of this year. Not, very specifically not, that city council passes a resolution at the request of a constituent. I believe we were specifically told that that's exactly the kind of conduct that a city should not be engaged in. And I'm reading this ordinance, and what does it say? This resolution, it says that this is being done as an acknowledgement of a request. It's an acknowledgement of a request by constituents to fly the Christian flag. This is exactly what's prohibited. So I have to raise my concerns. I don't think we're headed down a very good path here. I think we're setting a very bad precedent, and this should go back to the drawing board and be thought through in much greater detail.
Thank you, Councilman Gale. Is there any other discussion? Councilman Hernandez.
Thank you, Madam President. So in response to my colleague here and to bring some clarity, this ordinance clearly states that this is flagpoles are not for public free expression. So we got that understanding. The flag raising, the Christian flag raising for the Holy Week, it's to the prerogative of any council member to put a resolution and turn that request into a city expression. That aligns, clearly, it aligns with the ordinance that we had discussed in the past. So there's absolutely no violation in that sense. The Boston Supreme Court, or the Supreme Court, unanimously decided that Boston violated the First Amendment by not raising the Christian flag. So by not raising the Christian flag, we could be going exactly in the same direction that the city of Boston went. And we already know the results of that. And that's why this ordinance was written in a way that excludes any request from the public. But because it's Holy Week, the author of this resolution and the sponsors decided that it was a great idea to raise the flag in observance of this Holy Week, which still aligns with the ordinance that speaks to flags can be raised in alignment with any ceremonies, events, and such as Holy Week. And I'll just don't see exactly where we could be running into any potential issues, especially from the legal sense, when we have an ordinance written in a way that allows for us to do this, it also aligns with the decision that the Supreme Court made in the case of Boston, and it's a resolution made by a city council person as a city expression. So I just wanted just to leave it at that and kind of clarify that that's the way that I understood this resolution to be, and also the ordinance as well. Thank you, Madam President.
Any other discussion? Councilman Mitchum?
I guess first I'll respond to Councilman Hernandez. I think the trouble here is that it says, I mean, Councilman Hernandez, you said turning a citizen request into a city action, right? Those were your words. And of course, in the title of the resolution, it says acknowledgement of a request. So if this were the only time, right, if there was a request and we raised the Christian flag, we would be fine. The trouble will come when there is another request to raise some other kind of religious flag, and then we decide not to turn it into city action, right? And this, I'm not going to even speculate about what that would be or why, but when that moment arises, that's when we would then be in violation of the thrust of that Supreme Court decision. It's not as simple as saying Boston didn't raise the Christian flag, but we're raising the Christian flag. The trouble is, if the city shows discretion about which citizen requests it honors, if the city chooses this religion and not that religion, there we've gone afoul of the First Amendment. That's the trouble here, and of course we've put it right, you know, we can't get away with it. We put it right in the title of the resolution, acknowledging a request, and that's gonna bind us in some sense to acknowledge future requests, and we might not like that, which is why the ordinance tries to get requests out of the game, so we don't have this problem. We just do it. So that's the technical problem, which I think Councilman Hernandez was talking about, that Councilman Gale raised. I just want to join Councilman Gale on the larger trouble with this, which is that we can avoid all this by simply not raising religious flags. The separation of church and state is valuable, and I think it's more valuable to church than to state. And this is, and we look at what churches and synagogues and mosques do in our city. They are the heart of this city in many respects. They are the things that bring people together to do stuff they don't have to do for people they may not even know, to come out of pocket and to take time to help those around us who are the need. It is like the purest, sweetest thing that human beings do, and it's what keeps us all afloat in this city. And what happens here is dirty business by comparison. If I'm talking about the separation between church and state, I don't want to sully church with state. State is the nasty business. And I think church benefits from being entirely apart from it. I don't think any of the many sects of Christianity that thrive in this city need City Hall's acknowledgement to continue to thrive. I don't think any person who adheres to any faith will be shaken one bit in their belief based on whether we put a flag up or not. And I think we, as government, should mind our business and trust that the faith communities in the city, in fact, don't need us. They have been showing us the way, and they can continue to show us the way. So I would join Councilman Gale in saying that this is a business we better had stay out of.
Thank you, Councilman Mitchum. Councilman Thomas?
Thank you, Madam President. I'm receiving lots of feedback. I would like to address Councilman Gale and also my colleague, Councilman Mitchum. And I would just say, for me, I think it's important for us to also recognize the history of Hartford. Hartford was a fort, and it was also established by a reverend. And so Reverend Thomas Hooker is our founder. And he was a pastor full-time, and I think the Christian flag is the flag of the Congregational Church and a few other denominations of Christianity. And I think from a historical standpoint, it would also be important for us to recognize the many different Christian churches that we have in the city of Hartford and give them some acknowledgement. And I'm completely in agreement with Councilman Hernandez that I think it would be beneficial and a nice thing for us to do. And I appreciate Councilman Mitchum's comments when he says that the churches are the heart of our city. And if they are the heart of our city, I think it would be nice for us to bring some of that heart to City Hall as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Tom. Assistant Majority Leader Clark.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, this is not the first time this city of Hartford has flown the Christian flag, although it has not been historic. What we've done in the past, and I believe that there was no objection of this being done, even though it was not done by way of resolution. If you follow the Christian calendar, everyone is familiar with Holy Week, and that which leads up to Good Friday, then which leads up to Resurrection Sunday. Some people call it Easter. I think it would be irreprehensible if we did not acknowledge the flag raising for the Christian flag. If we want to talk about separation of church and state, I think that we have done so, but then you have many legislative bodies that open up their sessions with prayer, and this body used to do so. Even when I first got elected, we had, and way before my time, there was somebody that represented all walks of faith that opened up the session with prayer. And I think that by raising of the Christian flag is not the first acknowledgement of us recognizing the form of religion, because the city of Hartford has done so, recognizing various religious groups for quite some time. But since there is a policy that we need to put in place, this is the policy. And if there happens to be another request, then per the ordinance, this council would have to entertain such requests and by way of submitting a resolution. And since we're a policy body, we can always amend our own ordinance. I'll leave with that. I do hope that my colleagues would vote yes for this, and then we can continue about the people's business. Thank you.
Can I go first and then Councilman Gale? Thank you. As you recognized, we have a large Christian community in the city of Hartford, and who has been served our community in various capacity, helping us with our youth, violence on the street. Even the police department, has someone who works with our churches in the city. As far as the resolution, the way it was written, on the agenda, acknowledgement the request. If you look at the amendment number 2, the amendment number 2 only resolved raising the Christian flag. And so therefore, it didn't say request, it just says the raise of the Christian flag. And I do want to acknowledge the community, all the Christian members that lives in the city of Hartford. Again, the ordinance give the council members the prerogative of what they want to support and getting 5 votes around the table. So therefore, I'm urging my colleagues, to vote yes on this resolution. Councilman Gale, then Councilman Mitchum.
Thank you, Madam President. I certainly appreciate the sincerity with which everyone comes to the table on this issue, and I don't, I'm not here to take anything away from any religion, specifically the Christian churches in Hartford, who all do wonderful work. But I do think that council is, to a degree, missing the point. Councilman Hernandez, you mentioned the lawsuit and the particular problem in failing to raise the Christian flag was because they'd raised somebody else's flag. And once you've raised somebody else's flag, you couldn't then turn down a request for the Christian flag. That's the problem. It's not that that case said you had to raise a Christian flag. It's the exact opposite. What they said was, you get into trouble if you acknowledge one person and you don't acknowledge another. And to Councilman Clark, your last comment was exactly to that same point. You said, if we get another request to raise a flag. Well, if we turn that request down, you are exactly in the Boston situation. Exactly. And you could get a request that you want to turn down. So this is setting us up for exactly that problem. We have two churches right across the street from City Hall. They can both raise the Christian flag, and you'll have lots of flags flying. There's 4 churches within 8 blocks of City Hall. 4 churches could raise the flag. We'd have all kinds of Christian recognition right here on Main Street. I believe it was alluded to. I don't believe this body has ever supported the raising of a Christian flag. There was a flag flown, apparently. It never came to council, to my knowledge, for our approval. So I would not have supported it in the past, and I just want to indicate I think I'm reasonably consistent on this. The last comment would be the recognition of history. There was some comments about recognizing the history of the founding of Hartford. But I think the bigger history that needs to be recognized is that we're here today as a result of the United States Constitution and as a result of the Declaration of Independence. And in both of those documents, you will find there was a determined effort to never mention God. The word God is not in the United States Constitution anywhere, because the history of this country is people were very, very clear. 225, going on 250 years ago, they were very clear. Churches belong across the street in their buildings. Government belongs here in its building. And the two should keep a reasonable distance. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to respond to the question of history. You know, we should be wary of doing things because we have done them this way before. We used to open all of our ceremonies with prayers, which I think in probably any of us, the time that we can recall, there were from various faiths, but there was also a time when they were always Christian prayers, right? And we have come, I don't mean us 9, we have come to recognize as a society that that has an effect which is negative on the many, many members of other faiths, right? And I can say as a person who grew up and continues to be not Christian in a Christian country, you know, it's not the end of the world, but it's a thing, right? You feel it when all of, you know, the holidays and the things focus on this faith and not on these other faiths. And my brother, Councilman Thomas, mentions Thomas Hooker, and again, let us be wary of history, because when Thomas Hooker ran this place, black folks couldn't vote, the natives couldn't vote, Jews couldn't vote, and women couldn't vote. So let us go easy on how we used to do things and think about what is the better way to do things going forward. And I agree with Councilman Gale that we can tip our hats to the work of our many neighbors of faith. Without raising their flags.
Councilman Hernandez.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll make one last statement. I want to say this just for the record. The ordinance does not have a particular process for request of any flag raising. There is no formal request for anybody in the community to come to City Council and request for any flag to be raised. So in that sense, there is no argument regarding accepting to raise one flag and not the other, because there is no request process. So let's just take, for example, hypothetically, somebody comes into my office here in council and says, hey, Councilman Hernandez, remember it's Holy Week this week. It'll be nice, you know, if we could, you know, if the flag is raised. Okay, I go home, don't pay any attention. I go home at night and I go like, it would be nice to raise a flag. There's no process of request. There's no request there. Somebody just provided an idea. I took it and I said, okay, the ordinance allows for me as a city expression to put a resolution to raise a flag. We vote and then we proceed as a city expression. There is no request process. Just somebody said it. I hear it on the streets. I'm walking down the hall and I hear somebody talking about something and I said, oh, that's a great idea. Just like many of our ideas come to fruition. We hear people talking in the community, we gather their ideas, and then we proceed accordingly. So there is no particular specific process in the ordinance for any request whatsoever. This is a solely city expression done by a resolution raised and authored and borne by a council person's prerogative. So I just wanted to put it out there, and that's the last statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hernandez. One last discussion.
The trouble, though, to respond to Councilman Hernandez, whether there's a request process or not, is that the Constitution has special rules for religion and government that it doesn't have for almost anything else. So even, no matter what the request or not, I agree, like, all of our ideas come from the community one way or another. But if that happened, let's say, and you know, we got the idea, let's raise the Venezuelan flag. Okay, right, we raise the Venezuelan flag. And then someone sees and they're like, man, they should raise the Colombian flag. And we say, no, we're not gonna raise the Colombian flag. Well, there is no rule about Congress shall make no law regarding the raising of the Colombian flag, right? So we're kind of in the clear in terms of lawsuits. But there is a rule about government shall not take actions regarding the establishment of religion. And that's why we get in legal trouble here. Because no matter how we do it, if we do one, and then anyone requests another, process or not, and we don't do that one religion or another religion, we open ourselves up to a lawsuit that we don't even have to lose the lawsuit. If we just can't quickly get the lawsuit out of court, it costs us money. And so this is why I think rather than simply not just having a request process, we should just stay out of the religion flag business.
All right, Mr. Clerk. Oh, okay, Councilman Thomas, and then we're going to call the roll.
I just wanted to say to Councilman Gale and to Councilman Mitchum as well, in this great council chambers, we do, before our meeting, say the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm happy to say that in the Pledge of Allegiance, we do reference God. And it was also, the Pledge of Allegiance was also written by a Congregationalist minister. And I think for me, I think the historical precedence of us honoring some of Hartford's history, even though some of it maybe wasn't the best, but I think that's one, our 2020 vision and our understanding of it, of today. But I think for us, you know, us honoring the Christian roots of the city of Hartford is important. And it's important for us to do so. And I will be supporting this. And I would love for you to do so as well.
Thank you. Councilman
10
Gale.
words.
Is somebody going to call the question? Because we do have going to executive session. So I will give you the respect for 10 words. You said 10 words, right? You
Pledge
did.
of Allegiance
Yes, sir.
did not always have under God in it.
It's 11. All right. Somebody count 11 words. Councilman Clark, we are going to take a roll call. Mr. Clerk?
Councilwoman Billadu,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Gale,
No.
Councilman Hernandez,
Yes.
Councilman Micdom,
No.
Councilwoman Rosado, Councilwoman Rossetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Madam Majority Leader?
I make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All right, we're going to go into executive session. We'll be right back.
You gotta do the vote.
Oh, we got to take a vote on it. That's right. See? I don't want to vote anymore. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Clerk. Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Billadu,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez.
Yes.
Councilman Mixon.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado. Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Now we can go into executive session. We can go into executive session and we'll be right back.
John, they're up 10 with 6:27 to go.
You're up by 10.
Madam Majority Leader.
I make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
The motion has been made and properly second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bouldu,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Gale,
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez.
Yes.
Councilman Mictum,
Yes.
Councilman Rosado, Councilman Rossetti,
Yes.
Councilman Surgeon,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Council President. I make a motion to approve 8.1 Mayor Al Rulan pursuant to Chapter 8
I don't have my notes with me.
V33. I don't know Roman numerals. Chapter, what's in this? Is this 8? Chapter 8, Section 3 of the City Charter. The Court of Common Council hereby approves the settlement of Jose Hernandez versus City Hartford et al. Matter for $115,000.
Second.
A motion been made and properly second to approve item
8.1.
8.1. Is there any discussion? Seeing or hearing no discussion, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bouldu,
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale.
Yes.
Councilman Hernandez.
Yes.
Councilman Mictum,
Yes.
Councilman Rosado, Councilman Rossetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Great. Just want to make an announcement before we leave. Don't forget to stop by, the mayor has a little open house, open mayor's office reception down at the function room. So let's stop by, you know, and congratulate the mayor on his first State of the City address. So it's happening now. And May 3rd. Oh, yes, yep. I know I had something else to talk about. The first public hearing on the budget process, which started today by the mayor sending us the budget. If anyone don't have a hard copy, you can go online in the city of Hartford and you can actually read the mayor's budget online. The first public hearing for the budget, thank you, Councilman Gale, show and tell, will be April 3rd at Betances School. Batchelor, why do I think Betances? I'm going to Betances. There's going to be April 3rd at Batchelor School at 6 p.m. If you will go to the city or the council's website, you should see a flyer. If you scan in the the QR code, you could sign up, right, to speak? No? Yes? No? Oh, okay. So again, it's going to be April 3rd at 6 p.m. at Batchelder Elementary School. I believe that's on New Britain Avenue, or 757 Blue Hill, New Britain Avenue. I'm having a really good time. So anyway, we're going to see everybody on April 3rd for the first budget hearing. It's going to be open to the public, and we will also have a list of all the budget hearing deadlines or days for the department heads that is going to be published also on the city website. So I believe the first thing is going to be the public hearing, April 3rd, and then thereafter is going to be departmental budget hearing. So please join us, please stay informed to get information out on the budget. This is your budget, residents in the city of Hartford, and people who are visiting with us here tonight. We want to hear your concerns and issues. Let us know during the budget process. So I want to end the council meeting, and I want to say good night, and everybody be safe, and the meeting is adjourned.
Excellent.
I wish I had a flyer. Nobody gave